Hello everyone and welcome back to another FIFA 21 ratings video. Today we have Tottenham or Spurs, however you like to call them, and we're going to be seeing what I think their FIFA 21 rankings are. Now this is very interesting because the All or Nothing documentary, well the first 3 episodes have come out recently on Amazon Prime, and so it's interesting to see. Let me know what you guys thought about the series and my ratings in the comments down below. I'll apply to everyone. I'm always interested what you guys have to say. If you do enjoy this video, make sure you drop a big old like and subscribe down below if you're new to the channel. Trying to hit 20,000 subscribers very soon, so if you could subscribe with post notifications turned on, that little bell, it'd be absolutely fantastic. But you guys know the premise of the series by now. We get there, what I think is going to be their starting 11. So I've gone for a 4-2-3-1. And then what we do is look at their old FIFA 20 ratings and what I think their new FIFA 21 ratings are. This was recorded on the September the 4th. So if any transfers have happened, then I didn't know about them. But anyway, let's get into it. Right, first we have Hugo Lloris, the French keeper, the World Cup winner. I believe he's actually going to go down 1 rating from 88 to 87. 87 is still a really good rating, and I do think 2/3 of the time he is a good keeper, a very decent keeper. I believe he might be club captain or maybe joint captain with Kane, but he does do a good job the majority of the time. But I'm not going to lie, and I don't know if Spurs fans think this as well, but he does have a mistake in him. He has a couple of errors in him, and I think his second keeper, Gazzaniga, is very good himself, so he has a bit of competition there. But I think Lloris is alright, and 87 is still a high level keeper, but I think as well with age, he's going to slowly start coming down. I think an 87 is fair. I could see EA keeping it the same 88, but I think they'll move him down 1. At left back, we have Davies. Now, I've actually put him up 1 from 79 to 80. 79 to 80 is very low for like a Spurs left back. I was going to put Danny Rose in here, but I'm not sure if he'll feature for Tottenham or not this year. Davies, I put him up 1 because when he has played, he's actually had an alright season for some of Tottenham's defensive issues this season, especially since Mourinho came in. He's improved a lot. Similar with Davies, I could see him staying the same, but I've given him just 1 up into the 80s club. Next we have a player who I think actually has still a big future ahead of him in football. It's Davinson Sanchez, the centre-back, the Colombian. I really rate him as a player, and I think he's going to grow to be an incredible centre-back in the Premier League, but I'm going to leave him at 83 now. I think 83 might have been a bit too high for him already last year, so I believe instead of putting him up further up, I'm just going to leave him at 83 because that's what I believe he should have grown into this year. I think 83 is a fair level for, if you look at all the other centre-backs in the Premier League that are around that level, I think they're equal to Sanchez's ability. Next we have one of my favourite defenders in the league, a person that's been here for ages, Toby Toby. As you saw in the Spurs documentary in one of the episodes recently, he signed the contract. He seems like a top bloke, and I think he's brilliant. He's a massive guy, so good defensively. I am putting him down 1 to 86, not because I think he's bad, and like necessarily like a worse player than he was. He is getting older, and I do sometimes worry that is he still at that competitive level with the other like 87 rated defenders. You kind of have to wonder that. Like for example, Laporte is 87 rated this year, and is Toby Laporte's level? You'd have to ask that. I reckon I've put Toby down 1. I still think 86 rated is a great defensive rating, but he should go down just 1 little bit. Next, at right back or right wing back, we have a new signing for Tottenham. It is Doherty, all the way from Wolves. Very interesting signing. I think Wolves have lost out a bit from losing him there. He's a fantastic player, but Tottenham have gained a brilliant right back or a right wing back. He's really good going forward and actually quite intensely excellent at defending. I think he's a massive bother if you're playing a left wing and you've got to come up against that. I've put him up 3 from 78 to 81. A couple of reasons I've done that. A, he had a brilliant season last season. 1 for the fantasy football boys, if you know, you know. He was excellent there, getting loads of assists, some goals, and really helping out on some of the clean sheets for Wolves. Secondly, he's moved to a bigger club, and normally when players move to a bigger club, FIFA just boosts the ratings up because that's just the way it works. because you're amongst high rated players, they make you high rated. That's kind of the way it works. So yeah, up 3 for Doherty, and I think his card could be really good next year, especially in like a Premier League starter squad. We're moving on to our 2 CDMs. Now these aren't necessarily 2 CDMs that I would think in the starting 11, but the reason I'm doing that is just so I can fit the attacking players that I want in. So as you can see, we have Højbjerg, or Højbjerg, however you want to say it. I'm moving him up 3 as well for pretty much the same reasons, as he's moved from Southampton recently. What my thought process is A, he had a great season for Southampton, especially in the latter end, due to the fact that when Southampton passed that rocky patch where they got beaten, I think 9-0 or 9-1, when they got past that, they really had a great comeback, and he was probably quite essential to that, playing in the middle of the park with Aura Romeo and players like that. I think he should be an interesting signing for Spurs. Definitely a Mourinho defensive one, I'm thinking. Probably Southampton, I watched some of the least games, so as much as I've heard he's good, I'm not 100% sure. I'm excited to see how he is. But yeah, he's adding to Spurs' great midfield, and I've given him a +3 rating. Next we have Dele Alli, which is going to be very interesting due to in the Amazon Prime series, in the Prime Video series, he has a lot of like talk with Mourinho about how good he can be, how good he was. I think that 84 probably was maybe a tiny bit too high for him. I think he's under progressed and not played the best football this year. Do I believe that Dele Alli could suddenly next season be like an 85, 86 rated player? 100%. We know how good this guy can be, but in the last season, he hasn't been an 84 level player, hence why I'm bringing him down 1. Do I think he can improve massively and go back to an 85 and 86? Absolutely. I really rate the guy as a player, and I think he's quite a funny bloke. So, I'm sadly moving him down 1. This might be a bit of a controversial one, but as I said, I think there's no doubts in my mind that he'll bounce back up. Next, on one of the wings, we have Lucas Moura. Now, I'm keeping him at 83 from last year. I think he is almost the definition of like an 83 rated style player. I can't see him going down, but I can't see him going up. He hasn't been bad enough, or he hasn't been good enough to get either a down or upgrade. I think he's a very solid player. A great signing from Spurs, in my opinion, from PSG, I believe. I mean, just a really good player. They obviously helped him he helped them get to the Champions League final. Brilliant technique, nice fast player, good from the bench or good starting. Great player, keeping at that decent 83 level. Next, we have a big boy, Juanmi Son, an absolute star in Korea, as we've been seeing in the Prime Video series. He is a brilliant player. I've actually boosted him up by 1. I was going to keep him the same, but I think he just has that little bit of star quality. His stats might have not been like out of this world this season. I think he's played really well when the team have been playing excellently. I think he deserves it, and I think he could this season have even more of a breakthrough season and just start to be the guy with Kane at Spurs. It's normally Kane and then Son and then the rest, but I think it could get closer to Kane and Son being the 2 leaders of that Spurs team. He's a great player, great technique, so fast, so dangerous on the counter-attack, brilliant long shots, brilliant finishing, pretty good with both feet, brilliant player, and he's going up 1 for that reason. Next is Bergwijn, however you say it. I've actually left him at 82. He hasn't played that much due to, I believe, injury this season, but when he has, he's looked quite terrifying. He's quite a young player, I believe, so I'm going to leave him at 82, just because he hasn't done enough to get an upgrade, but he hasn't been bad enough, because he's been fairly good when he played to go down. So I'm going to leave him there, and there's a lot of room for him to improve in his career. I could see him maybe being an 85, 86 in a couple of years, definitely. Great potential, another massively fast player for the Tottenham counter-attack. It seems to me like they're trying to build like this attack around Kane, which is very pacey, to kind of make up for Kane's lack of pace, even though he's not the slowest guy around. And last but not least, we have the big man, the main man of Spurs Football Club, Tottenham Hotspur. It is Harry Kane. I'm actually keeping him at an 89. Part of me thought he's had probably one of his worst goal scoring seasons. Shall I bring him down? And I thought even his worst goal scoring season is pretty good, especially in the Tottenham team that just managed to scrape 6th. I think Mourinho is going to take him to another level. I think he needs to just he's so close to that elite level, like so close, and he has entered it previously with his ridiculous goal scoring record, but I think this season, he might be able to turn up to a 90 rated. I'm going to leave him at 89. He's a great striker. Sadly, not the most usable player in FIFA, unless they bring back heading or something like that. But yeah, I'm going to keep him just at 89. But anyway, those are my Spurs ratings. We missed out a couple of players, I'm fully aware. But this is the starting 11 I think they could play in a spicy match. Anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye.